What's up, everybody? Good evening, Buck fans. Thank you and welcome to Bucs Report, the pregame show. It's your host, AJ Turnup. As always, thank you all for tuning in. I know everybody's just getting off work, so you're trying to get yourself settled in, get ready for this game that we have at 8:15 against the Atlanta Falcons. It's going to be a hell of a game, Buck fans. I'm ready to get it started. It's going to be good. We're playing the Dirty Birds, and look what's going on. Thank you for tuning in out there. Bucs Ray Bolts, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm doing all right. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're ready for this Bucs game. Bucs fans out here, look, I want you to save your appetite. Now, I know people don't be. I'm here. I'm here to give you some comfort. This is what I want you Bucs fans to do. I want you to load up on the alcohol, not so much on the food. And here's why. Because at the end of the game, I want you to save your appetite for the Dirty Birds, because we gonna fry, saute, bake, grill, bake, and shake everything on them Dirty Birds. Do you hear me? Gonna have to pluck the feathers just like this, just like this. We want them motherfuckers crispy. We want them crispy fried, actually. I like my shit personally grilled. But if you want your shit fried or sauteed or baked, that's what we gonna do to these punk-ass Falcons tonight. I know people are worried. I understand you're worried. Just like, yes, no Winfield, no Canty, no Luke, no Palmer, no McMillan. But let me tell you something. This is the moment of truth for the Bucs. Now, this will be the game that, but this is an important game because, one, it's just about shutting up the damn naysayers. Of course, we want to win for the sake of the team, but we want to shut these dumbass so-called media folks out there, experts, that had the audacity to say that the Falcons were just going to run up in here and take away and run away with the title, the NFC South, over your beloved Bucs. The same Bucs that were Super Bowl champion the 2020 season, the same Super Bowl champ, the same Bucs team that has won 3 years straight, the same Bucs team that has been to 4 straight NFC playoffs, the only NFC team to do so. That's what they want to tell the Bucs players. That's what they want to tell us Bucs people, that the Falcons are just going to come in here and mop us. And I say bullshit. The Buccaneers will prevail in this game. The Buccaneers will find a way. The Buccaneers have the edge, in my personal opinion. Why? Because the Bucs, I have a feeling that this Bucs team, after that Denver debacle and then the bounce back against the Eagles, they're not counting anybody out. And this is a rivalry game. And I'm very aware this game could be a challenge, but I have a feeling the Bucs are going to go in there and kick the Falcons' ass. Why do I say that? So let me just get back to this. The Falcons and Saints game. If you really look at that game, they didn't score any offensive touchdowns. It was a slugfest. And I truly think that when the Saints and Falcons play, they take a lot out of each other. They really do. They take a lot out of each other, and it's a short week. The Bucs, it's not no new super injuries. We were aware that McMillan and Palmer more likely were going to be out. We were aware that Luke Gedeke was going to be out. We were aware that Winfield is going to be out. We were aware that Canty is going to be out. The Falcons at this point are beat up. Yes. Can they be desperate? A desperate team is very dangerous. I agree. But the Buccaneers are a prepared team. The Buccaneers are going to go in here. And like I said, because the Falcons were playing against the Saints, those two took a lot out of each other. So I don't think mentally nor physically the Falcons have recuperated enough yet to play a Bucs team. Because remember, your Bucs offense is far better than the Saints. I don't give a shit what people say. You see that the past 2 games, the Saints have come back down to earth. They are who we thought they were. And like I told people, they had a new OC, shit looked good, and then reality came in when people adjusted. So the Falcons right now, they can't handle Mike Evans, they can't handle Chris Godwin, they can't handle Sterling Shepard, they can't handle Cade Otton with Irvin and Rashard White in the backfield. That's a lot to answer. Yes, do they have a good pass defense? Absolutely. I agree. Bates and Simmons are one of the best safety tandems. Algier, their corner is is solid, but may I remind you, Evans has a history of shitting on Falcons secondary. Now, may I remind you that Irvin is coming into his own. May I remind you, Rashard White is good at passing and at running and catching. So I see a lot of potential for this Bucs team to really go out there. I personally think that the Bucs are going to go out there and put this game away to me by the early third quarter. Why do you ask? Is because I already anticipate a lot of things what the Falcons are going to do. So I'm glad that we're all on here. We're going to really just break down what the Falcons more than likely are going to do in order to beat the Bucs, especially with their defense. First of all, their defense has to play fucking flawless. The Falcons have so much pressure on both sides of the ball, but in reality, their defense is going to have to be damn near perfect. Now, this is what they'll probably do. They're more than likely going to put Judon on school side. We know this, guys. We know school has a tendency of being an open saloon and being open, but they will. Oh, guys, wait a minute. Before I even get into my depth, we got Bucs Live. Rick Hughes in the house, and he's going to get in here, and we're going to talk more of this Falcons game tonight. Let's go. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see your Buck face. That's what's up, Buck fans in the house. Looks like you can shave for this game.
Just call me a butt face?
Buck
yeah,
face.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And look, I told the audience, I'm telling you, save your appetite for tonight. Drink all the liquor or beer you want, but save your appetite because look here, Rick, tonight we're going to be chopping up and grilling some dirty birds. I don't know how you like your chicken, but I like my shit for the most part grilled or fried, sometimes baked. How about you?
How about just burn the hell out of them? I don't care how you do it. Just I don't want to see lightly cooked. I want to see thoroughly cooked Falcon. I'll take barely done, but I want thoroughly cooked Falcon tonight.
Amen. So what is your if you had to say, how do you think the Falcons are going to approach the Bucs this game with their defense? I already have my opinions, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, let me say this. I think equally interesting is how are the Bucs going to approach this. I think there's going to be a lot of quick passing and a lot of running. I think you're going to see sort of more running than last week, but a similar approach to last week. I don't, short stuff, and then deep. I want to see more screens, and I think you can probably expect to see more screens today.
Yes.
Again, I feel like this game is prime to, if you're a betting person, go for the under. It's a Thursday night game. You just want the game over as quickly as possible, and try and get out with a win. So their defense, what do I think they're going to do? Look, I think they know. I think they know that if you can get to Baker, there's problems, but that the Bucs probably aren't going to let them do that. There's going to be a lot of quick stuff. They probably know that there's going to be a lot of quick stuff. You're probably going to see what you love, press coverage, a lot. You're going to see a lot of people up in the box. I think they're going to dare Baker to throw deep. And I don't think the Bucs want to throw deep, but I think they're going to dare the Bucs to do that. I think you might see Kate Otten a little more involved in this game than we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see the continued development, the continued growth, or the continuation of Bucky Irving starting to more and more take on the lead running back position. I think that's
everything that he just said, Buck fans, speaking a lot of facts out here. That's one of the most important things that they will do. The secondary is going to dare the Bucs offense to throw deep, but the beauty of it is we still have the weapons, the priority in Evans and Godwin that we don't necessarily have to. And I truly do think, of course, they're going to load Judon on school side to try to get a pass rush and rattle Baker. But as we see, Cohen brilliantly against the Eagles maneuvered around that. So he had Baker more on the rollout. That's what you have to do. That's good execution. One, Rick and I go way back. He's the one that started this Baker Mayfield campaign. So shout out to Rick, because when I started listening, I said, yeah, you know what? I'm all in for it. Baker does magic on the run anyway. When he is out of that pocket, he sees the field in a way that's excellent, and he can take advantage. Now, my two guys that I think on the receiving end, well, I'm going to do three, but two receivers that I see that is going to have a good night, Rick, is between Godwin and Sterling Shepard. Yeah. I see Sterling being the guy where they're still unsure of him, and they're going to take advantage of that, because as we see, Sterling still has some juice in him, and I don't think the nickel for the Falcons is good enough to handle him. As you said with Otten, I kind of see Otten going up the seam, because
that's exactly what I see.
Yes, Atlanta's best linebacker is out. So if I am the Bucs, take advantage. They could go with Otten up the seam, because I do think that the Falcons are going to double Evans early. Well, what do you think?
I do think they're going to double up Evans early. I do think Godwin. I rarely ever bet at all, and I put a little money on Godwin going on the over on yardage and getting a touchdown tonight. So yeah, I think that's. I agree with you 100%. I think this is Godwin's game. But Evans has made a career out of eating the Falcons alive.
Yes.
I think they know Evans is that good. I'm not sure you can stop him. I think here's what'll happen. You'll have Evans with fewer receptions, 3-4 receptions, 80 or 90 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see a 50-yarder or 60-yarder from Evans. Maybe you'll see a touchdown on a short pass from Evans.
Yes.
I think the thing is, I don't expect. It's easy to. He's so darn good, and you can sit there and say, "Okay, yeah, they're going to cover him. They're going to take him out of the game." It's really hard to do. And the fact, what I think is going to happen is at the beginning of the game they'll take him out.
Yes,
but by the end of the game you'll see Evans as more of a factor, because everybody else is going to be eating as they overprotect on Evans, and when that happens, they're going to have to shift back out, and then Evans by the end.
Ding, and that's where Godwin comes in. You put your money on it, Rick. Godwin is going to have the kind of game in the first half like he did against Detroit. I think you're 100% spot on. They're going to have to acknowledge to double Evans early, but like you said, if Godwin gets the separation, like we know he will, because the Falcons have been weak against the slot receiver, Bates is going to have to make Godwin the priority. And by then, it's going to be too late. I actually said this. I said, I don't expect Evans to get that many yards, but a touchdown. I expect Evans realistically to get maybe between 50 to 70 yards, but he's going to get a critical touchdown because they get in that red zone and it's a one-on-one factor.
So yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, you see the same thing. It's going to be a short touchdown pass with him. I think he's going to score. Godwin's going to score. Bucky Irving is going to score. One thing that has helped, and people might underestimate this, is Baker running those few times down by the goal line.
Yes.
He can fake that, and you're going to pull. I mean, the moment he ducks like he's coming in, everybody's crashing the line, and everything behind is going to be wide open.
I agree 100%.
I think there's some potential there for some, get Baker getting rid of some quick passes into the end zone.
100%. I think so too. I'm just waiting to see Otten make it rain on that seam. I just see the linebackers crashing in, and Baker's gonna see that, and he's just gonna lob it, and it's gonna be like a 20 to 30-yard bomb, and he's just gonna catch it because their linebackers are their weakest link right now. But their front seven is their weak link, because did you know that they are dead last in sacks and pass rush?
Yeah, they're last in sacks. I think they have 4 on the year. And the Bucs had 6 last week. This is what the key to this season, and I said this before the year started, the key to this season is getting pressure from the front 4.
Yes.
Now, that's a tricky thing with the Todd Bowles defense, because the front 4 is not always the front 4. I mean, some of them drop back into coverage, and then you have linebackers crashing the line. So maybe I was not precise enough, and let me be more accurate and say getting pressure from a 4-man rush. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be the front 4, but from a 4-man rush. And they've done it the last couple of weeks. And I think that makes a massive difference in this team.
Yes. And what makes them good? Oh, we got another guest in here. I'm glad he's coming in on this. We got Carter Brantley, guys, one of the best podcasters out there who gives you the hot fire. How you doing, Carter?
I'm doing all right, AJ. How are you, man?
I'm good. Congratulations again.
Oh, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. How are you doing, Rick? You doing all right, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about this game. I mean, I'm not watching at work. I'm not sitting there while I'm at work with my phone out trying to kind of do my job. And I work on a commission job, and Sunday's a big day. So it's just, it's like, I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to watch the game. I'm trying to do everything. And that part sucks. Games like tonight, I'm jacked up about it because I get to kick back in front of the TV with my, my Doritos and, just have a really fun time tonight.
Heck yeah.
Yes. And Carter, what I was about to jump in on about the Bucs defense is that, and let me know what you think. I do think that because the way that we got in Slick, he yesterday on the Aftermath pointed this out, and I think it's a very good point. The simple fact of the way that the Bucs got the sacks from different players, it's going to be a challenge for the Falcons to pinpoint, besides Vita, of course, who the main person that you need to watch out for, because at that point, the way that Bowles has it, anybody can have a breakout day. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely loved the defensive performance this past Sunday. Obviously, who doesn't? I don't know. The Eagles are, without Lane Johnson, they're a very different offensive line. So they were struggling mightily, to say the least, without that veteran presence on the outside, and also still trying to figure out how to replace Kelsey. So the Falcons, they've got Lidstrom at right guard, who's probably the best right guard in football, and still got Jake Matthews and Caleb McCary, I think, at right tackle. They've got a better offensive line than the Eagles do. So I don't know if I'm expecting nearly that type of production, but I do expect Bowles to mix it up. He was great with his play calling on Sunday with the blitzes and stuff, just scheming guys to get after the quarterback. So I do expect that, and hopefully he's able to be successful with it. But these Thursday night games, man, they're always brutal. You got to shorten the playbook. It really limits what you can do from a schematic standpoint.
Hey,
so
Carter, let me say something. You said the Eagles have a better offensive line. Let me say this. I think the Eagles have a better pass blocking offensive line, not a run blocking offensive line. I think the Eagles have a better run blocking offensive line. than
Right.
the
I
Falcons.
meant the Falcons have a better offensive line. Sorry
Yeah,
about
the
that.
Eagles have a better run blocking one.
Right. No,
The
for
Falcons
sure.
have a better pass blocking
Yeah, absolutely. And
one.
they need to with Cousins back there. My good. Yeah, that's another factor. Hurts is able to
Yeah.
move around quite a
Yeah.
bit more than Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
especially with that Achilles injury. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what the Bucs can do because it's the
Well,
first division game. So
I'm going to say this: one of the key players on the defense that I think this year that the Falcons aren't going to be ready for is Tyke Smith. If you watch Tyke the last game, he is getting much better with the blitzing pickups. He's doing better with angles. I think he's going to be a disruptive force. And let's be real, Kirk Cousins is not a mobile quarterback, so we don't really necessarily have to worry about him taking off. And I truly think with Bo's designs, he's not going to have time to go through his progressions. Let's be real, guys. Drake London is not an elite receiver. Maroney is okay with speed, and Kyle Pitts he's what his last name is, in the pits right now. And we have Levante David to neutralize that. So that's why I truly and let's be real, this offense isn't gelling like they should, because it's going
What
to
is
take
the
time.
story with Kyle Pitts?
I just think
I
that
want to know, you guys, what is the story with Kyle Pitts?
I just think that he's not healthy enough, and the Falcons don't know what to do with him. So, and he might just not have what it takes, because the game against the Saints, when he tried to get separation, he literally was running into defenders. I don't understand that.
I heard somebody say he's a more athletic. Now I lost his name. Who's our tight end we drafted?
OJ Howard?
Yeah. Or wait, no. Who'd we have before him? Got in all the trouble.
Oh,
No.
you're talking about
Alan Winslow.
Safarian Jenkins.
Yeah, Jenkins.
Oh, Safarian Jenkins. That's right.
Yeah, I feel like maybe, yeah, and I heard that description. OJ Howard's actually also a very good. That is maybe even better. He's more athletic, but he just I don't get it. I mean, that dude, he should be better than he is, and it's not. And it's not just health, because we're going on more and more. We got another coordinator in, more coaches here. We got more happening, and still nothing.
It's just, for a guy like that, we've all seen it. How many times, Carter and Rick, we've seen college guys succeed because they're playing against freshmen and sophomores, but when they get to the big boy league, it just doesn't carry over, because these guys are just as fast, and they hit harder, and they can adjust to you quicker.
Yeah.
So I was still.
But he was an SEC tight end. He was playing against these guys. I mean, week after week, it just feels. I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me. It's fun though. If you look back, and Carter, I know you can go on about this. If you look back at past drafts, it's hilarious when you look at the first rounds. You go back, say, 4 years, 5 years, and you start reading off the players that were first round draft picks. And with literally half of them, you're like, who? And they were first rounders.
Yeah.
And you've never heard from them again.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty. Well, let me ask you this. Who is it, if you had to say, Carter, I want to start with you. Of course, who is the Bucs, when they play the Falcons on offense, who should be the number one priority?
You're talking about the Bucs offensively, like who?
No, when the Bucs face the Falcons offense, who is it?
Stupidness. It's been a long day at work.
No worries.
But I don't know. Bajan's always tough. He's always going to be electric out of the backfield. So he's definitely up there for sure. Darnell Mooney's been having some nice games here and there. He's been racking up some better than expected metrics, I think. But yeah, Drake London's pretty solid. He's not Julio Jones or anything crazy like that, but he's kind of a fun outside target for Kirk Cousins. I don't know. They're a weird offense, because like Kirk's kind of settling in, but kind of not. And like, I don't really know what to make of Atlanta so far. It's still early. There's still a lot of season left, but it's going to be an interesting game. The Bucs are going to find out a lot. I think that even if they lose this one, I think they'll be really well set up to beat them in the next matchup at home at Ray J. Because it won't be a Thursday night game. They'll have more familiarity. Whoever wins this game, I think, loses the next matchup against the same teams.
Okay.
These divisional matchups
You
are
throw
always
a different angle on this, because I'm not disagreeing with you, Carter. I want to know your thoughts on this, because I had different thoughts. I had the thoughts that this was a very important game for the Bucs to win because they have new coaching. They're bringing new things together. A couple weeks from now, a few weeks from now, they're going to be a little more in sync, a little more together. They're going to have some more time together. And my thought process is, let's get this one because
no, I feel you.
Yeah, because the next one, I'm more concerned about the next one than I am this one. And the schedule makers did the Buccaneers some favors because if they win this game, they have a long week, like almost a mini bye week. They have a long week going into the Saints game, and the Saints are coming off of a Monday game. So the Saints will have 4 fewer days to prepare. 4 fewer days to prepare.
And
Now
get healthy. Yeah.
Now I hate the Saints because they seem to just have our number. But I'm fascinated by how this is going to play out because, guys, if the Bucs are 5-1, all they have to do is split their next 4 games, and then comes the easy part of the schedule. If they split the next 4 games, they're 7-3, and then it gets easier.
Right.
Yeah. So now my theory about winning the division by week 13 don't sound
Holy
far-fetched.
crap, AJ! I made fun of you. I gave you so much crap for that.
And now,
if
Carter,
they win these 2 games,
Carter, I said this. I was sort of joking, but I was a little bit serious. No, I take it back. Damn that, I was serious. I said the Bucs would wrap the division up by week 13 or 14. The reason why is because the teams. Let's be real, Carter. When you saw the Saints the first 2 games, did you really believe in them, or did you go, let me see what happens when teams adjust?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to make any assumptions or make any decisions based off of 2 games. That's such a microscopic sample size. But, you can say the same thing about 4 games. That's still not really a lot of time to make any real assumptions about any teams. But, yeah, I mean, the Saints were really fun those first couple of weeks. They were just slinging it all over the field. Clint Kubiak was doing his thing, making sure that offensive line wasn't messing up too much. But, yeah, like you said, teams have adjusted. So,
am I correct that was Kubiak the Raiders offensive coordinator?
Maybe at one point. I think he was with San Francisco last year, though. He was like their passing game coordinator.
I think he had worked with Carr previously.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be the case.
I think the difference the first year with Carr, when everybody was jumping off that bandwagon, is because they brought in David Carr. This is what was so stupid to me, and I'm going to give the Bucs some massive praise on this because when the Bucs with their offensive coordinator searches, when they're on their 13th candidate or whatever, the Bucs have brought in a coordinator that fits Baker, who's going to run an offense that suits Baker. What the Saints did is say, we've got an offense, Carr, come run it. And that didn't work. So they had to get rid of their coordinator and then get somebody to come in and run an offense that's a little more friendly.
It's a little more friendly, but the players are not as up to par as the media wanted to hype. I like Rashid Shaheed, but to me, he's a poor man's Tyreek Hill. Got speed, but that's about it. Put a safety over him. That's a wrap. Chris Olave, he's coming into his own, but it's going to take some time. And Carter, this is another reason why I say this game, the Bucs have the advantage because let's be real. When the Saints and Falcons usually play, they clash. That's a battle. Now, the Bucs, not luckily, but the way that they handled the Eagles, they didn't really have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations mentally or physically. Look at what the Falcons had to do. That takes a lot out of them mentally and physically. They're without their best linebacker. They didn't even score on offense with Kirk Cousins. And you already know this, Carter. How many passing touchdowns have the Bucs been scored on out of 4 games?
I think it's 2.
Only 1.
Oh, 1. My bad.
Only 1.
There's
Only
a good
one.
stat. Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. There's a stat of the day.
There we go. Only one. And that's why with this Falcons team, the pressure to me personally is more on them on both sides of the ball, because Kirk Cousins, like you said, he's a stationary guy. And let's be generous. Their team is just not as good as the media tried to portray them. Do they have talent? Absolutely. But they can be exploited because they're still finding their own way. Zion McCollum, I'm predicting this, Carter, and look, I need you to give me a shout out if I'm right. Zion McCollum is going to get a pick.
Oh, pick 6.
Here's why I say that, Carter. I think they're going to try to test, for some reason, I think they're going to test him. They're going to test Zion to see if he's really that guy, and that's going to be a dreadful mistake. I just feel that that's what they're going to do, because they're going to want to go. They want to get Drake London started. I think for Maroney, they want him to be the deep shot. But one thing I will give Dean is usually he doesn't get beat deep. Usually. But he doesn't get turnovers either. But you take him for what he is. But I think Zion, they're going to make that mistake, and he's going to throw a bad pass. Zion's going to pick him off.
I got a player to throw out at you that I think is going to have a big game as Jordan Whitehead.
Oh, I get
Jordan Whitehead. Yeah.
I honestly think they're not even going to throw to his side. I think if he makes an impact, it'll be he stops the run or he thumps somebody. But I honestly think they are going to attack the right side, because that's where they think we're going to be vulnerable. They got Izzian up there. He does a good job, but he's not Winfield. Let's be real. Yeah. Izzian is doing his job, but he's not Winfield. So
you guys worried at all about offensive line? Gedeke?
I'm very concerned, but I'll let Carter. You have more insight than I do. I would like for you to give us your expertise.
I don't know about all that.
Dr. Brantley.
Right. No, I don't know about all that. I'm not like. I mean, obviously, Gedeke would be a lot better than School, but the Falcons just have had such a poor pass rush to start the season, and I'm still like, it's still weird to me the combination of the Cousins contract and the Penix draft pick, because instead of picking Penix, they could have traded back and gotten an edge rusher, or they could have just sat there and got an edge rusher, and they could still have Matthew Judon and some young rookie that's super talented off the edge doing their thing. Because I think the Rams, I'm going to mess up his name, Jared Verse, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's been going nuts, and the Falcons could have easily have kind of just maybe reached for him a little bit, but man, their pass rush has been tough. So I'm not as worried about it. Obviously School has had his ups and downs for sure. There's a reason he's a backup. It's not an ideal situation, but we'll see. I don't know. He's going to be a little better than I think people think, but he's still not going to be Luke Gedeke. It's still going to be a bit of a concern. But Cohen did a great job. Baker was getting rid of that dang ball on Sunday.
2.2 seconds.
Yeah, it was crazy.
2.2 seconds.
The way they were able to kind of it was kind of like the Kubiak thing. They were able to kind of scheme away from the offensive line being an issue. So I'm not as concerned, but yeah, it's definitely something to monitor for sure.
I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, Carter, but I think they're going to dare Baker to throw deeper. I think we're going to get a lot of press coverage. We're going to get more of that. They're going to bring people up in the box. I think they're going to dare Baker to throw deep.
Yeah, it's that new wave of offense in the NFL, the low depth of target, just don't take sacks and don't throw picks and just kind of wide receiver screen a team to death. I don't know, because I think they're going to have a lot of motion. I love what they've been doing with the motion concepts on offense. So I would love to see that with Bucky and Rashad and all the playmakers. So maybe that can kind of circumvent or avoid that press coverage, because the Falcons have a good secondary. They've got some really, really good players out there with Terrell and Bates and the like. So
I think we may see more 2 running back sets tonight.
Oh, I love that. I would love that so much.
I think that might happen.
Yeah,
I think they're going to try to shorten the game. The Bucs are going to try to shorten the game, get out of there as quickly as possible.
Yes,
and get to the mini bye. They're going to try and, I think, shorten the game, keep it closer, and win. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about Bowles, but he tends to, let's just keep it close.
Well, you might be surprised. This is where I might look, and I got the sword on here tonight, Carter. We have to have look. How do you like your chicken? Grilled, baked, sautéed, or or fried? How do you like yours?
Oh man. I don't know. I love chicken in all ways and forms, honestly. I don't know that there's a wrong answer, to be quite honest.
That's cool.
Um,
Uh-huh.
because fried chicken is delicious as long as it's done well. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be one particular over the other, but all things being equal, like man, fried chicken's delicious. That
How about
shit
There
some
you
is
go.
saucy
Well,
nugs?
save your appetite because we're gonna whoop that ass tonight. Here's what I think. I know you guys, I know Bowles, if the game is close, then I agree, Rick. I'd say by the second half, if it's still close, you're right. He's gonna go into guys, let's just get on out here and get this win. No bullshit. That's just how he's gonna do it. However, I honestly think this is gonna determine the way of the game. Kickoff. If the Bucs defense is out there first and they get a stop quick, a quick 3 and out, and the Bucs can score like either start fast. I honestly think Cohen is going to say, okay, let's kick it up a notch. Hear me out. And I want you to answer this, Carter. Let's say the Bucs go up 14-0 in the first quarter like we did the Eagles. Do you seriously have any fear that Kirk Cousins is going to be able to climb his way out of a 14-point deficit that early?
I wouldn't put it past him. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say with complete confidence, of course, but that is a steep hill to climb. The Falcons' offense has not been uber productive over the first 4 weeks. Even the games that they've won, you know, they managed to eke out that win in Philly, but they didn't score a whole lot of points, you know. So they looked rough against the Steelers. Obviously, Steelers one of the best defenses in football, so that's kind of a mulligan. But yeah, it's been a weird start to the season for them for sure on offense. So yeah, if the Bucs jump out ahead, they could very easily just kind of control things.
Oh,
Kind of ease
that
up.
would be nice. That would be
That would
nice. I
obviously,
don't see
yeah.
it happening, but that would be
Check out
Right.
but no, guys, check out the Falcons win-lose pattern. Lose, win, lose, win.
Well, you're talking about taking a quick lead. Let's look at the Bucs quick lead pattern. First time last week in 22 weeks or whatever that they scored an opening drive touchdown.
That's a
So
good
if we're
point.
going to look at patterns,
Well, here's why I'm going to negate that is because I think that Broncos game, they just didn't adjust with the school situation. We all can agree that they are aware of who Schoolie is, and it's not a bad thing. They will work their way around that. Because Carter, me and Rick agreed on this. I think Otten is going to get open in the seams because their linebacking core cannot cover that well. And if Bates has to guard Evans double, because he's going to have to help out. If the Falcons are dumb enough to leave Evans one-on-one for an entire quarter, that's a fireable offense for Raheem. But anywho, he has to guard Evans, so that's going to leave Otten to try. And I honestly believe that Otten is a better north and south route runner than east and west. I think when he tries to catch sideways, unless it's clear, he just has the fumble, the droppies. But when it's north and south, he just catches the shit and just goes straight. Do you think that they can take advantage with Otten going against their linebackers?
I hope so. I mean, that'd be great. He's on one of my fantasy teams in this stupid 2 tight end league. Ugh, I hate it, but you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been kind of not a non-factor. He had a really nice game against the Broncos, and he had an okay game last week. So it'd be wonderful because yeah, that Falcons linebacking core is a bit weird. You know, you don't really know
bad.
what to expect.
It's bad.
Exactly. It's bad.
Well, you know, I never want to do this with the Bucs because anytime I call a position group or call any other team awful, the Bucs manage to turn around and figure out how to make them look like, you know, they'll make them look like Jack Lambert's out there or something crazy.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You know, I try to hedge my bets in that matter. But no, I definitely feel you. Like on paper, it should be interesting. If Cade Otton's going to have a good game anytime or a great game anytime this year, it'd be this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited because Cade Otton, you know, he's kind of an unsung hero kind of guy. He played so many snaps last year. That poor guy.
Yeah.
He was getting banged up out there. So he's definitely a guy that does a lot of little things that I think people miss out on very well. So yeah, hopefully he can get some stats in there, you know, get some catches and stuff like that. So that'd be nice.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go.
What I wanted to say, if I wanted to be Cohen and I really want to throw the Falcons defense off where they're like, what the hell? Is go to a double tight end set.
I don't think that's going to throw them off because I mean, I don't think that's going to throw anybody off with the injuries that we have.
Right, but what I mean
and
is
trying to shorten the game. When I said trying to shorten the game, that's what I think you're going to see is a double tight end set. You might, I mean, you're going to see running. You're going to see them trying to help school. I don't think I'll be surprised if we don't get some, quite a bit of double tight end sets.
The reason why I say that though is because with Otten and Parnham, we know about Parnham, but they don't. Parnham has at least some sneaky speed where a linebacker would just look past him and Baker can go doot, and make things happen that way. But I do think that we're going to be seeing a lot more gritty running. But I'm confident in Bucky because Bucky, one thing I do like about Bucky, he's so good at making it 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 4. That's why you're right, Rick. He's slowly going to take over the starting position because I'm going to be real. When I saw both of them run, they might have had the same type of attempts, but Bucky's runs looked so much more impressive than Rashad.
Rashad had the longest run last week, though.
He did, but it's different because there were certain signs when he still would run right behind the damn line and fall down in this 2nd and 10. It's like, I'll say it like this. The Bucs, if they're going to run the ball with conviction tonight, it cannot be in 2nd and 10s. It needs to be no less than 2nd and 6.
Please
if you do that, you got
the hell out of this game.
That
screen
too.
The hell out of this game. I want so many screens that, I mean, I want Baker to, what was it, 18 for 18? Who went 18 for 18 the other day? That
was Jared Goff.
Yeah. Let's go 19 for 19, but all of them screens for all I care. I mean, what that's going to do is stretch the defense out. It's going to force the defense out, and then you can run the ball up the middle. So
yeah.
That please start the game with screens and rolling Baker out. For the love of God, tell me why we don't roll Baker out ever.
Exactly. And Carter, I want to ask, because again, we got to take off our fan caps sometimes and just talk football knowledge. What would it take? Like, what is the thing that concerns you that could cause the Bucs to lose this game, in your opinion?
I mean, I hate to turnovers, taking big negative plays, just having low success rate on passes would be pretty rough. Also letting Kirk Cousins pick them apart just would be rough. I mean, if they let Bijan Robinson run all over them, I think they end up getting a loss. Like, if they allow 100 plus rushing yards, I don't know that the Bucs come out of here with a victory. They got to do their best to try to make Kirk beat him, because Bijan Robinson could do his thing, and that could be a little scary. So, if they can avoid all those things, just avoiding the silly mistakes and avoiding the big negative plays, I think they can come out of there with a victory pretty easily. But I don't know. That's a tall order in a short week and going on the road against division opponents. So it's tough. We'll see how it goes, though.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now, I say this: if I'm the Bucs early, start playing more man press. Don't give Kirk any cushion early. Mix it up, of course, but make him flustered early, because he don't like that. He don't like that. When he gets flustered, that's when the mistakes comes, and that's why I think he's going to throw an interception on McCollum's side, because the rush will get there soon. I honestly see. I don't know why. I see Yaya and Levante having a night out there. Why? Because Yaya, I think, is going to find a way to bull rush the lineman into Kirk, where Kirk is going to get rattled and move erratically and throw it to try to get it out there. And that's when McCollum is going to go, got
two sacks for Yaya tonight.
Yeah. I'd say the Bucs get between 4 to 5. And why? Because what I stated earlier, I get it. It's hard to replicate what we did last week, but they don't know it. Besides Vita, who are you going to block? And despite that, it's going to take two linemen to block Vita. Do you honestly, Carter, do you think anybody one-on-one, for the most part, can handle Vita?
For the most part, yeah. I think Chris Lindstrom's going to do a great job. He's just really stinking good. Like I think he's probably the highest paid interior offensive lineman in football. If not, if not the top spot, he's certainly up there. But Vita's never really, he's never going to rack up a huge sack total or anything like that. His job is just eating up blockers and letting the pass rushers kind of do their thing. But yeah, Yaya, my goodness. I mean, his pressure rates, his win rates, all those sort of under the hood things that can maybe speak to how a pass rusher is doing more than just his pure sack total. They've been really impressive. He's ranked in the top 5 in a lot of those type of advanced sort of things. So that's fantastic. That's a really, really great sign that even if he's not getting home right now, he's going to get home eventually. Sorry, I got a cat going crazy. I don't know.
Hey, all right. That's all right. You're a cat guy.
Sure,
that works for me.
Hell yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I think Yaya's going to have a better game than just pure sack total wise than Vita maybe. But it was fun watching Vita eat up Hurts last week. I mean, that was a lot of fun. And I'll be curious to see how Levante David does. Coming off that 2 sack performance, he was outstanding. I mean, he always is. But that was a lot of fun to watch. So.
Apparently, he wants to be more involved in that, and I say go for it because the way that he blew up Saquon. I was impressed. I said, wow, this guy blew up a premier running back and got there. Bijan is not Saquon. Can we all agree on that? He's not Saquon.
Yeah, and the Bucs always stop the run. I mean, I'm just not worried. Yes, Saquon had one big run. Bijan may get a one decent size run, but I don't think I just never worry about the run. I just never worry about the run ever.
Right, especially Vita in there.
The one thing I want to say, I want to bring up 2 things. The first one is I don't understand why it feels like the Buccaneers never play at home on a Thursday night. Every time it's a Thursday, they're on the road. I don't know what the stats are on this. It's something we got to look up, but we're always on the road every year on Thursday. We're on the road. Now, the other thing is we tend to suck in prime time, right?
Right.
Well, we're playing Kirk Cousins. He may be the only guy worse than us in prime time. So
yeah, the Falcons are rough in prime time too.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. This game's going to end up as like 9-6. I mean,
I don't care if it's 9-6. I don't care if it's 9-8. If we win, I will run around.
Yay, AJ!
Yay, AJ! At this point, Carter, you're right though. When it comes to the Bucs, if they lose, it's not the end of the world. But for the Falcons, this puts them at a disadvantage, and this makes the gap much difficult for them to recover. Because let's be real, depending on how they play tonight or perform, it's not a gimme when they play the Panthers anymore, because they have some sort of stability. Then after that, they have the Seahawks. So their schedule coming down the pike is not looking good for them as well, because then they play us again within the month.
I want y'all to think about this. The Saints are 2-2. If they lose today, this week against the Chiefs in Kansas City, if they lose, they're 2-3. If we beat the Falcons, they're 2-3. We're 4-1. I mean,
that's a big hole.
That's a AJ. I'm sorry for laughing at you.
Okay,
because this is turning out to be, if the Bucs end up 5-1, this season got weird fast. I mean, because think about it, if the Bucs end up 5-1, they beat the Saints too.
Yep.
It puts the Saints almost out of it. I mean, they'll be 3 games back. 3 games back.
3 games.
And
the only tough part about that is just that they got, Baltimore and Kansas City and San Francisco, and those are, competitive games. But if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet on the Bucs to lose those games.
I would say we'll split them. We'll split.
Yeah, I disagree.
We'll split the 4.
I say this: Baltimore is the biggest concern, not the Chiefs and not the Niners. Niners are not healthy enough anymore, and I think this time, are the Niners coming to our house this time?
No.
That's true. Yeah,
they are. It's in Tampa. The Niners get. Look.
So there you go. Now I will say this, Carter. I'm not going to lie. That Baltimore game that scares me, because Baltimore has a defense, and statistically speaking, Lamar has a great record against NFC teams.
Look, that's the kind of game. That's the kind of game we get blown out in.
And if it happens, so be it. But remember, we're getting healthier. I guarantee you, Gedeke comes back when we play the Saints.
Yeah.
Canty will be back.
Yeah.
And Winfield. Carter, can you imagine having all those people back? And then that means McMillan and Palmer most likely will be back.
I don't even know. This is what's funny. I'm not even sure I want them back. If we keep playing like this, there's a part of me that's like
rest.
Yeah.
Rest.
I mean, yeah.
Carter, how would you respond if they're 5-1? You're gonna have to write like 30 blogs by then. The first one's gonna be holy, and then the next one is shit, and then oh my god, what's happening? Because it's not as far-fetched as it's not as far-fetched.
Not at all. And if they're able to get out to that 5-1 start, then they can lose all 3 games against those 3 Super Bowl contenders, and it's no problem at all.
Like they're still leading the division.
Sure. Yeah,
they'll be up by 3, and there's no way the Falcons are going to run those 3. I mean, look, if they're 5-1, this division's getting weird fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and then Rick, you might have to get me a cigar on that one. If we close in 5-13, Carter, I'm gonna be like this. Hey,
you got it. You got it. I will be happy to do that and call it the prediction of the century. That you said something that ridiculous, and if it happens, you got it. But listen, this conversation right now could very easily be, all right, guys, the Falcons beat us. Now what do we do?
Yes, 100%.
So we can't get overconfident and cocky and think this game, this is easy. Listen, this is a difficult. They're favored by 1.5, right?
Yes.
So,
no, but I think this, Carter, and maybe we can all agree on this, that Denver loss, I think it will more than likely, depending on how the season turned out, be a blessing in disguise. Because at that point, you got punched in the mouth and you understand, because Rick said it. And Rick wasn't saying it to be right. He was saying it to remind us any given Sunday, just like last year, Carter, about the Texans. Slick and I was like, you crazy. Then that shit happened. We were like, you know what? He got a point. But I know it's getting late, so we're going to get ready for this game. I want to get your last thoughts. Give me your last thoughts and what you have, Carter.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you all a prediction just because I gave it in the little RBLR show too. I unfortunately do have the Falcons winning this one, 21-16. I think there's a confluence of factors. The Bucs being really banged up. Thursday night's always weird. They're on the road. I think that there's going to be they're just going to be stressed and they're just trying to get out of there alive without, losing too many other players to injury with a weird short week like this. It's tough to win on Thursday nights on the road. Like Rick said, it's always weird that the NFL seems to schedule the Bucs on the road on Thursday. But then again, like Thursday nights are always so weird. Maybe you're okay with getting the road game out of the way, having an extra.
No practice basically this week. None.
Right. Exactly.
They at least get an extra day or two,
Yeah. Exactly. No, that's a good point. But yeah, I got the Falcons winning this one. But hey, I will be more than happy to be wrong. It is not a super confident pick by any stretch of the imagination. It never is with the Falcons. So
Kirk Cousins sucks in prime time. I don't have
for sure. Absolutely. And hopefully that continues to be true. Kirk O'Bangs or Kirk O'Chains, whatever you want to call him, he'll have a stinker. That'd
exactly.
be
Kirk.
I think it'll be close and low scoring.
Yeah.
So by low scoring, I'm talking 21-20.
Right.
That's what I mean by low score. Not low. It's not going to be 9-6, I don't think. But you're going to end up with 21-20, 18-15, 16, some weird score like that. This is one of those games you get a weird score like that. Falcons kick 5 or 6 field goals. I mean, this is one of those games.
Well, I'm going out on a limb, guys. Carter, I'm going to say 31-17. And with that further ado, I just have a feeling that the Bucs are just going to come out of nowhere because they still think about that Broncos shit and say, look, we're going to put these bastards away. But Carter, thank you for your time. Tell people where they can find you and what you have coming up the pike.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it, at CT Brantley 12. I'm always on Bucs Report right in there. Also, Sports Talk Florida. I've been covering the Bulls as well, the USF Bulls, their football team, and I'm going to be covering their basketball team this season. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Also, catch me at RBLR Sports and at Creative Loafing with the Bucs coverage there too. Really appreciate y'all for having me on. Hope you'll have a great rest of your show. Y'all always do great work, and hopefully, I'm talking to y'all next week about a Bucs victory. That'll be awesome.
There you go.
Hell yeah. And congratulations again, man. You're a beast. Go Bucs.
Great night. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. So, yes, I said 31-17.
Okay,
Why?
right.
I hope so, but if it's 9-6, I don't give a damn. It'll just remind me of the Bucs and the Steelers and Ravens. So
Yeah.
I just want this at this point. You're right, Rick. I just want this team to win, and I want them to come out alive and healthy because I'd rather have a 9-6 win and we walk away healthy than a 31-14 or 17 win, and then Chris Godwin's down or somebody else. I don't care because that's where sometimes Bowles, I can understand why Bowles sometimes plays like that because he doesn't want us to take unnecessary risks and get our players hurt trying to style instead of just closing the damn win. That's what defensive-minded coaches think about in the first place. They're like, hey, I don't want us to win, and it comes at a higher cost because look at Antoine. He should have been out more than likely, but due to the injuries that we were receiving, he stayed in. But we don't need that anymore. We don't want so Bucs fans out there. If you are I'm only saying that, but don't be discouraged if the Bucs fuck around and win 17-10. It's a win.
Don't be too bummed no matter what.
We want these guys to come out healthy and alive. And just remember, one thing that gives me good sleep at night. Bowles said that Kancey had a good shot of playing if this game was on a Sunday. So that means help is on the way.
That's good.
Help is on the way, and Palmer's going to clear his concussion. Luke will clear that. If anything, can you imagine we win this game, Rick, and then we play the Saints with the full fucking deck of
this is what's fun about this game is if we somehow or other steal one tonight, and that's what it is. If we steal one, because guys, I fully look, I'm not going to be even a little bit shocked. I'm not going to be pissed at coaching. I'm not going to anything if we come out a little bit flat. It's a short week, very short week. You don't get to practice. You don't get the game prep. You don't have all of that. You're going on the road. It's Thursday. Everybody who gets mad is like, how could they come out flat? They're human. So that's the fear. If they do not come out flat, we come out on top. If they come out ready, we win this game.
We win this game. And with that being said, I'm gonna get myself ready for this game. Rick, tell people where they can find you at.
I don't care. Wherever. Usually on your show at this point. Sometimes we're on, sometimes we're not. Dave and I pop on whenever we feel like it. But we're around.
Well, always a pleasure of having you on. Rick, as always, take care of yourself. Check them out at Bucs Live, guys. And go Bucs. Let's get this W.
Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Shout out to Rick on that, guys. And yes, at the end of the day, we just want to win this damn game. I feel that we will. And either way, I just want the Bucs to win. And I know we all do. So with further ado, I'm going to leave you guys to that. Again, always follow Bucs Report the Aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio on Wednesdays at 7 with Slick, with my co-host Slick, the British guy who's always fly. And check me out on It's About Buck and Time on YouTube channel. And as always, guys, let's go Bucs and let's get this win.